Alright, I wanted to make one last video 4 hours before the game starts, or actually, excuse me, 5 hours it looks like, and, talk specifically about just this one game. Yesterday's video was just talking about things in general. I wanted to just talk about this one Game 7. First off, I didn't really give a player of the game for Game 7, Game 6. I'd give it to Gasol, almost a triple-double. I think the runner-up would be Kobe, and he's very close. He could easily have been player of the game, but Gasol to me was player of Game 6. So there you go. Game 7. Here's what I got. Keys for the Lakers to win the game. Number 1 would be get to the bucket. The Celtics are definitely going to be without Kendrick Perkins, leaving them thin at the big man position. So they're starting Kevin Garnett, who's fine for the most part, and Rasheed Wallace, who, there are some good things about Rasheed, but he's not really a low post guy anymore. He's a good defender when he wants to be, but he does foul a lot. He's more of a perimeter shooter at this point in his career. It's a mixed bag with him, so you gotta get to the bucket, you gotta get points in the paint, you gotta drive the ball and get fouls called on KG and Wallace. When that happens, if you can get 2 or 3 early fouls on one of those guys, you're going to get Glenn Davis to come in, who's a pretty good player. He's got a good jumper, he's a good rebounder for his size, but he is half a foot shorter than the Lakers' big men. So you got to get him out there, you got to do whatever you got to do, because Glenn Davis is a player who can be completely overwhelmed by the opposing team's length. If you put Bynum out there with him, he's really going to have a hard time getting shots off. If he has to go under the rim with Gasol, Odom, and Bynum there, it's not going to work. So you're going to try and get him out there. And if you can get another Celtic big in foul trouble, be it KG, Wallace, or Davis, then they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. They got to go to Scalabrine. They got to go to Sheldon Williams. And both those guys suck. If you can get either of those 2 guys out there for meaningful minutes, that means wonderful things for the Lakers. So that's the key. Get the ball to the bucket, get to the free throw line, get early fouls on KG, Davis, and Wallace. However you can do it. For the Celtics, I think the key needs to be hitting threes. The opposite. They're not going to be able to get very many points in the paint. They don't have the big men to do it. Perkins is out, and they like to use him for screens. Those screens that'll free up Celtic players to get to the bucket. They're not going to have that now. Perkins occasionally got points in the paint. They're not going to have that now. Now their starting center is Rasheed Wallace, who likes to shoot threes. Kevin Garnett, his trademark shot is a 18-20 foot jumper. Davis, also often a jump shooter. Scalabrine, very much a jump shooter. So they don't have the ability to score in the paint like they normally might. It's going to be harder for Rondo and Pierce and anybody to get into the paint because Perkins won't be there to set screens. Now the plus side to that is with Rasheed Wallace out there, you have to respect the 3 a little more if you're the Lakers defense. But, again, that's a mixed bag because Rasheed's not a great 3-point shooter. He's just as likely to brick 6 threes as he is to make a couple. So it's kind of going to be a mixed bag there again. But I think the Celtics are going to end up shooting a lot of threes. Ray Allen, Rasheed Wallace, Paul Pierce, and they got to make them. Because they're not going to be able to get a ton of points in the paint. They're probably going to get dominated on the glass in terms of rebounding, especially without Perkins. They're probably going to have a hard time getting into the paint with Bynum and Gasol and Odom out there. It might be just too much to ask for them to get into the painted area. So they're going to end up shooting jumpers and threes, I think. They're not going to get a lot of foul shots. It's going to be very tough for them to get to the rim, so when they take those threes, they got to make them. So Rondo, I don't see him scoring a lot tonight. He's got to be an excellent passer. He's got to affect the game in every other way, because it might be hard for him to score tonight. So those are the keys, the major keys. I would say the second key for the Lakers is to get at least 10 combined points from Sasha Vujacic and Jordan Farmar. Those two guys, they come off the bench, they give them LA a few minutes a game, and if they score a little bit, if they contribute just a little bit, it means the world to them. So if they can just get 10 combined points from Farmar and Vujacic, however, as long as they don't take like 20 shots to get it, I think they'll have it. And the second key for the Celtics, I think, would be, well, I think Pierce needs to go off. I think Pierce needs to find a way to score at least 25 points on our test. It's going to be very hard for him to do that, but I think anything less, and they can forget about it. So those are my two keys for both teams. With that said, I'm going to say LA 93, Boston 86. I'm going to say Kobe wins Finals MVP. If Gasol has a triple-double or something like that, he can steal it, but I think Kobe's going to get it. And yeah, I'm excited. So I'll talk about the game after it's over tonight or tomorrow. And everybody enjoy tonight. See you later.